Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. Now we're focusing on the 40th Exercise Tradewinds 2025, happening from the 26th of April to the 8th of May, right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Joining us is Captain Anil Gosine, Chief Staff Officer of the TTDF HQ, Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Edwards, who is the Deputy Commanding Officer of the TTR, and joining us also is Commander Richard Reyes, USN Senior Defence Official of the U.S. Embassy in Port of Spain. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning to you, Natasha, and good morning to the listening public.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's a pleasure to have you. Commander Richard Reyes, we're going to start with you if we can. What is Exercise Tradewinds 2025 and why is it so important to us?
Well, good morning, Natasha, and again, thank you for having us this morning. So Tradewinds 2025 is the Caribbean's premier multinational exercise. It's focused on strengthening partnerships, strengthening security cooperation, maritime security, land security, cybersecurity, and disaster response resiliency for all participating countries.
It's interesting you mentioned cybersecurity because that's many times something that will go over people's heads because you automatically think about what's going on physically, but not, of course, that we're in a digital space. So that is critical and so important. Captain Gosine, let's come to you. Good morning again and welcome.
Good morning. And thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Now, hosting the exercise this year, who's hosting it and why?
Oh, yes. Thank you for that question. Please allow me as well. So Trinidad and Tobago will be co-hosting Exercise Tradewinds 2025 alongside the United States Army South. Now, it's a partnership that reflects shared values and our commitment to regional cooperation and safety. The United States Southern Command's strategic support, in this exercise allows us to play a central role in advancing regional readiness.
Something that is so important as well, which goes back to what you would have mentioned, Commander, with some of the things that are going to be focused on, which is super important as well. So Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Edwards, let's bring you into the conversation as well. When is this going to take place and where is it going to take place? And I think importantly, the public would like to know, are we going to be affected?
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. So as you would have indicated, the exercise itself is going to be taking place from the 26th of this month with the opening ceremony and runs all the way to the 8th of May for the closing ceremony. Now the thing is, even though that is the actual exercise window, the exercise would have actually had some exercise training taking place in Trinidad in other locations. So that would have been taking place in a window leading up to it. So once the exercise concludes on the 8th, then there's of course going to be that period where people will be leaving. So troops should be in country till at least the 28th of May, the next month. So the locations will be taking place now. So the majority of the exercise is actually going to be in the Chaguaramas Peninsula, but we do have exercises which will be taking place in the east, within Arima, Centeno, and within Cuba.
And when they are taking place in these areas that you mentioned, is it that perhaps these areas are going to be cordoned off, or will the public be able to carry on as normal?
No, so the public will be able to carry on as normal. With all the planning that we would have done, we would have tried to ensure that we do not disrupt the public in any way. But we do have, of course, considering all safety precautions, so just in case something does happen, there will be personnel from all different agencies, from our ministries, who will be there to deconflict just in case something does happen. But there should be no need, there should be no disruption taking place anywhere.
That's wonderful to hear. I know especially for some it can be a bit daunting to see so many military personnel around wondering what is going on. And speaking about that, what kind of training are the participants going to experience and go through? So
the training is multifaceted. You would have mentioned cybersecurity. So that is actually one of the areas of training that's going to take place. So there are 5 or 6 main areas of training taking place, including land operations, maritime operations. So we're going to be dealing with things like illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, running emergency centers, command post operations, cybersecurity is going to be one, and more important for our region, humanitarian aid and disaster relief. There's also going to be a particular type of law enforcement, just to make sure that we bring in all our partner agencies.
Awesome. Definitely some great things that need to be focused on consistently. Yes, and as things continue to update on an annual, even a daily basis, we know that, of course, our wonderful military also will need those updates as well. Captain Gosine, Gosine, we're coming back to you this morning because we've heard about this multifaceted training taking place. But what would you say are the main goals behind all this training, and what are we going to see happening after this?
Well, Natasha, thank you for that question, and please again allow me. So the main goals is first to, of course, deepen our cooperation, our regional cooperation, and not just with our regional partners, but of course our international partners. And secondly, what we aim to do is build regional capacity to plan for and respond to crisis, whether it be disaster relief or security threats. And finally, we are strengthening this across strengthening relationships across military and civilian agencies, because I'm of the view that building resilience is all about working together within different sectors.
Yeah, something that's so important as well. Commander Reyes, how long has this been in the making, Tradewinds?
So Tradewinds is 40th anniversary. It's been going on since 1984. And here the planning for this particular Tradewinds has been going on since January of last year, so January of 2024. And the TTDF have been fantastic partners and hosts, and we're going to have a wonderful exercise.
I can see from all of you that you're all looking forward to it. We can get that sense, and it's definitely something, again, we're hoping to see the returns, especially with the, let's say, the multifaceted investment that is taking place. Lieutenant Colonel, let's come back to you for a moment, because one of the things that we do know is there are quite a lot of you here, to say the least. So how many countries are involved in this? And if you can share with us, how is one chosen to participate in this?
So, dealing with the numbers first. So, the entire exercise, there should be around 24 partner nation countries, of course, including the United States and United Kingdom, Canada, all across the region. So, across the entire hemisphere, there should be around 24 countries. Personnel numbers, we should be looking at around 1,300 troops in country, but that will be over the period. And as I indicated, we have taken all the safety precautions, so people shouldn't be worried about being swarmed or anything, because it's all under control, and we do have, of course, host nation support. So most countries, when to select somebody to go into Tradewinds, of course, you would have had to have satisfied what we would call particular qualification criteria. So each different track has its own qualification criteria, and within your own partner nation at your home country, you would have met that criteria, and then you would have been recommended to come forward. Because the thing is, it is not just training, but it is an exercise. So we have people coming here actually getting ready to execute different types of operations.
Is this something that would then, I guess, complement your rank within if you do take part in the Tradewinds exercise?
Well, it's not just about that, because it's about cooperation, It's about networking. So at the end of the day, it's about meeting like-minded individuals, sharing experiences, and being able to get an understanding of how different forces and operate in different circumstances. So especially if and when something does happen, we actually know each other and we can operate from a common ground. So that's what it's about.
Something that we definitely would love to, well, we like to see, to say the least, because it does, I think, bring a level of comfort even to our conversation here, knowing that there is that community coming together and that awareness, because we all know that in crisis we have to come together because we need one another, to say the least. Now, Commander Reyes, what kind of military assets can we expect to see during this exercise?
Yeah, so as Colonel Edwards has mentioned, the strength of Tradewinds is its multilateralism. It is that strengthening cooperation and partnerships. So from the 24 participating nations, you can expect ships from 7 different nations, to include the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, as well as aircraft from 3 participating nations. And we're talking about primarily logistics aircraft like C-130s, but you'll also see a few Black Hawk helicopters flying around. Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to be looking forward to that as well. And let's bring you back into the conversation, Captain. What is in this for Trinidad and Tobago, aside from, I mean, clearly we're going to be looking forward to seeing some great things.
Yes, that's a very important question. Everybody around us is actually asking that same thing, and let me attempt to answer that. So it's there is enduring benefits to Trinidad and Tobago by taking part, and just not taking part, but hosting Exercise Tradewinds. First, of course, it enhances national capabilities, in both defense and disaster response. Now, while at the same time, creating an opportunity for our service personnel to gain invaluable training experience in real life, complex scenario type of arrangement. And most importantly, I must say that it deepens the relationship with key regional and international partners, which is vital to fostering unity, strengthening preparedness, and promoting a safer, connected Caribbean. Now, through Tradewinds, Trinidad and Tobago stands firmly at the center of regional preparedness and cooperation.
Something that is, of course, critical as
Yes.
we continue to grow. Lieutenant Colonel, let's bring you back into the conversation. What would you say are some of the key things that participants are going to take away from this exercise and bring back to their nations?
Well, some of the key things that they should be taking back, of course, is the experience. So, like for some of our younger servicemen and women who may not have had particular exposure, just the opportunity to, for example, see some of the assets, participate in some of the drills. So that type of training, that type of exposure is going to be one of the biggest things. And of course, readiness, because at the end of the day, that is the key part of the exercise, ensuring that all our forces are ready. So once they do what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it, and give all they're supposed to give in the exercise, they will take readiness out of this.
Definitely. So let's start with some closing comments. Captain Gosine?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you again, and thank you for the opportunity. Now, we are of the view that Exercise Tradewinds 25 is not just a training drill, It's a bold expression of regional unity and shared purpose. Under the leadership of the Chief of Defence Staff, Air Vice Marshal Daryl Daniel, the Trinidad and Tobago Defence Force, and by extension, all of Trinidad and Tobago, we stand proudly at the center of this multinational effort. Together with our partners, we are building strong ties, enhancing readiness, and preparing for challenges of tomorrow. Through this exercise, we reaffirm our collective commitment to safety, security, and resilience in the Caribbean region. Thank you.
Commander Reyes?
Yes, so again, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much for the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Forces for being such wonderful hosts for this exercise. On behalf of U.S. Southern Command and the U.S. Embassy, very happy with the exercise thus far, looking forward to it. And as the captain mentioned, it's all about collective security. It's all about making our hemisphere safer, and it's all about building interoperability between our militaries. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Of course, it's our pleasure. And Lieutenant Colonel, closing comments for Trinidad and Tobago.
So once again, ma'am, so just like the U.S. would have expressed their thanks, on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force and all our partner agencies, because we did have a wide range of persons from across different government sectors assisting. We've done a lot of work preparing for the exercise, and we do look forward to being able to reap the benefits so that at the end of the day, Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, all our partner agencies, and our regional forces will be able to, of course, serve, protect, and defend our citizens when that time does come.
Thank you, and thank you all for your service. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
The 40th Exercise Tradewinds is happening right here in Sweet T&T. Stay tuned, there's more coming.